Hello and welcome back for Game 2 where Cloud9 heads under the rift opposite 100 Thieves. So we're looking to try and retain that undefeated record, Kobe.
I mean, it's definitely hype already, right? Echo Fox is the undefeated team. Looking to have one join them here, and we'll see if, Meteos versus his old team is going to be able to do that. He's talked a lot about, playing with those guys and knowing them pretty well.
Well, we'll have to find out. And with that, we'll take a look at the starting lineup. First up, selecting blue side, it's Cloud9. Not quite undefeated, but looking to have a good record. In the top lane, the rookie Licorice. In the jungle, Svenskeren. And mid laner, Jensen. Bot Sneaky, his support Smoothie, and their coach Reapid.
And on the red side, it is 100 Thieves. Ssumday in the top lane, Meteos in the jungle, Ryu mid lane, Cody Sun bottom, and aphromoo support. Crawley is on stage coaching them, and he has done such a good job kind of coordinating these guys outside of the game, sending them in with a good early game plan, as well as kind of coaching them through the kind of metagame and the overall gameplay here, that they have really been able to have a fairly smooth start to the season.
Certainly impressive given the age of the team total, but yesterday, Licorice had the tough task of facing Huni, and unfortunately for the rookie top laner, it doesn't get easier at all as he now has to play Ssumday.
Yeah, I mean, Licorice, he performed very well in the early game yesterday. There was a couple of moments later on in the game where team fighting where probably could have gone more aggressive or this or that could have happened, but definitely a strong performance. And overall, Ssumday has been a monster. He's still a monster, and nothing has changed there. So another very tough test for Licorice coming right up back-to-back.
And while Licorice has been slotting well into Cloud9, their bot lane have also been performing excellently, and they are the next test for Cody Sun and aphromoo.
Yeah, and Cody actually, after their game yesterday, in the interview, pointed out Cloud9's bottom lane, they were one of the duos that was very high on the double teleport, the double summoner spellbook on the bottom lane, but he was not a big fan. Didn't like it at all, and he was very confident coming into this matchup.
Well, we'll see what happens here in Champ Select as Cloud9 ban away Azir and Braum. Tom Kench on the other side there for 100 Thieves. So 2 supports and a mid laner, but pretty standard stuff here.
Yeah, Braum and the Nile King himself, Tom Kench, off the board. Honestly, with Azir banned here, Ryze and Malzahar, very high priority. They might want to whittle down on that pool as the AD carries do start coming through.
Yeah, Sneaky has actually drawn quite a lot of AD carry bans in recent games. Of course, we are still early into the season. Kog'Maw, I suppose, will join that mix. A C9 with a final ban of Phase 1.
Yeah, Kog'Maw just is broken right now. He deals a ridiculous amount of damage, hyper-scaling AD carry that also just scales off one item. So it's not like you have to wait super late into the game to be able to make big plays and play around your Kog'Maw. The damage coming out with just Rage Blade is so strong that a lot of competitive teams are banning him out at the moment. And there's the Zoe, not going to be in this game.
No, actually banning Braum and Zoe away on the blue side, so not interested in first picking up perhaps. This 100 Thieves ban away Jace. Lots of respect through into Licorice, who did take that up against Huni yesterday.
So Kalista is up once again. Since Braum is banned out, Ornn goes up a bit in priority as he's up again and the ultimate can't be negated. As well, we already mentioned the Malzahar and Ryze trade. That is a very high possibility.
Different decisions here for Cloud9. And looks like they'll buck all those trends and go Sejuani.
Yeah, a lot of people have been wondering why there wasn't higher priority earlier on for a lot of these teams, for the tank junglers, for the Sejuani, for the tank Jarvan. But Cloud9 going to grab it very quickly here and kind of wait to see the double pickup from the 100 Thieves before they try and respond. It makes me think, especially since Reaper has been so heavily intent in crafting counter picks, that Cloud9 have been one of the teams kind of on the forefront of, like the Zillion into Malzahar and crafting some more interesting jungle picks to be ready for things that they're really ones to try and more combat what their opponents are trying to do and attack their goals than just go down a straight list of tier 1 pick, grab that one, tier 2 pick, grab the next highest priority.
Well, Ezreal and Gnar kind of fit into the other camp there. Very high priority champions overall. We'll give Ssumday his Gnar and of course Ezreal for Cody. Cloud9, I think part of the reason they did this with the set is there's quite a lot open. Feels like the first phase of bans had a lot of targeted bans in it. So it looks like that will be... Okay, we'll wait. It looked like an on briefly, but it's actually going to be Camille Camille for Licorice, I believe, can be played jungle. It's pretty rare though, and Licorice does love this champion, I think also into this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, they may have been looking for an Ornn earlier on with the Braum ban, but with a Gnar pick up here early, they're definitely trying to get some kill pressure onto the Gnar. You know, Camille, especially with a Sejuani, they can stack up the passive stacks for a stun very quickly. Camille basically just engages with her wall jump and stuns, and then Sejuani able to follow up very quickly. So that's a lot of threat and even dive potential, honestly, on a Gnar, especially mini form, since a Camille always gets to choose the engagement time. So a lot of threat there from Cloud9 and a nice little adaptation for the top side. Meanwhile, Taric for some team fighting presence. Smoothie has been one of the premier Tarics in the North American LCS for quite a long time, actually.
Yep, what a better way to enhance that dive potential than with a Taric ulti. As looks like diving come the other side as well. Meteos on the Zac. Of course, a long pocket pick of his.
The original North American Zac, KDA King Meteos. I was wondering, I actually tweeted after last week to him, when is he going to pick the Zac back up after such popularity has really been throwing into this champion. Everybody's trying to get their hands on the crowd control, as we just saw Darduck play a very good Zac in their last game versus TSM. Meteos also going to follow this one up here.
And you kind of a similar train of thought with, you know, where are the tank junglers? I think pretty quickly players are realizing just how good Zac is, so his stock seems to be rising here in the NALCS.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the weaknesses, because he's not without his weaknesses, and the reason people were fairly trepidate to pick him before, the early game on Zac is punishable. It's difficult to punish it on Sejuani. It can be done, but usually it would be a much more offensive pick, and a lot of junglers were, especially from solo queue, you're kind of conditioned against you know, punishing champions early like that. So Zac here in competitive gets through the early game a lot easier with people protecting and being able to farm up. Once Zac gets his farm, though, the engagements, you talk about the long range, you talk about the multiple forms of CC and the length of that CC. It's really been able to highlight the strengths of Zac while kind of covering up the possible invades that people would want to do on him early.
Well, bans are done for this draft here, as two ADs continuing to get taken away from Sneaky. Trist and Sivir, with Ezreal already picked, will go off the board, and Alistar with a support ban and a Rise ban actually there from Cloud9. So I think trying to shift the mid lane towards maybe a particular set of picks, but there's Shen going to save counter pick there for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and you would think the particular set of picks would be, oh, they're going to pick Malzahar, we'll do the Jensen Zillion again, so it wouldn't really be a big surprise without, that's kind of the trio that's just floating around right now. Because 100 Thieves opt for another tank here, tanking the bottom side as well as tanking the jungle, and Gnar, maybe semi-tank, I guess, for Ssumday in the top side. They definitely have a very beefy front line and looking for huge DPS from their mid laner, from Ryu, who has been performing quite well.
You know, looks like Kalista did make it all the way through, so not kind of a strict late game carry, but still very strong, especially in the earlier stages, and can snowball those team fights, of course, with Ren. Kind of the question is now, what does Jensen want to play blind here up against Ryu? You're kind of caught in a weird trap, because if you don't pick Malzahar, you're probably going to give it to Ryu. But if you pick Malzahar, maybe Ryu has his own counter pick prepared.
And Jensen going to take up the Taliyah blind here. This has been a champion that's fallen a slight bit by the wayside, because we keep talking about Azir, Malzahar, Rise as the three premier that's been circulating, but Taliyah still with heavy mid-game influence, able to roam around effectively. And if you look at the overall strategy from Cloud9, they've crafted Camille, who spikes so hard on Trinity Force. You get 1 to 2 items on her with Sterix and stuff, and you're ready to go for these engagements. They already have the guaranteed Taric and Sejuani kind of big teamfight presence. You combo that with a Kalista, who also spikes very heavily off of 1 to 2 items with a roaming mid laner. Cloud9 making a very clear, strong mid-game effort here to try and take over this game before it really does get out of hand. And then, as you see there, no big surprise. Malzahar does find his way into yet another game, and it definitely does have a threatening ultimate, and you can look for the combos with Zac. CC layering is something that you always have to mention with this champion, as he definitely can dish out the damage over time.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff there on the other side. We'll note Taliyah's did drop off a lot due to just having her mana being so much worse with a bunch of nerfs. But thankfully, with all the rune changes, mana flow ban is real good value on a champion like Taliyah. So curious to see how Jensen plays it. In my mind, it's not something he plays that often. I think Cloud9 funnily actually got a lot of leads with it last year and then weren't very good at closing their games out. So we'll see if they've changed their tune here. And I will say, both these teams are doing a great job. 100 Thieves getting together, playing the simple stuff, and finding success. But Cloud9, I'm impressed with how early they've just been adapting and playing different comps and getting out of their comfort zone.
And I'm impressed that they are putting this much into Licorice, right?
Exactly.
Licorice is their new rookie star on the top side, and he's picking Camille into the Gnar. Definitely a good matchup. They're going to look for some jumps there onto Ssumday and see if they can actually get this Camille up to the Trinity Force, maybe even Sterix right after to really hit it home and start to snowball.
Well, looks like it's 4th unique champ in a row for Licorice. Also on a favorite of his from solo queue in Camille. Can he smash another Korean top laner in a 1v1?
Whoa there. I mean, yesterday was definitely impressive from Licorice. He played the Jace, another very offensive champion. He had a very high forward percentage, which is, time spent past your the midpoint line of the map. That is to be expected with Jace, but he was playing it very well, very aggressively. He was able to dodge skill shots as far as the ganks that were coming in towards him. So definitely a lot of confidence here for the Cloud9 squad across the board, especially in their new members. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves. Talk about confidence. These are a bunch of veterans, and they have shown it. Another one of the undefeated teams in the league looking to keep pace with Echo Fox, who got their victory earlier today.
Well, again, everyone's spreading back out. Had a slight scuffle in the mid lane between Jensen and Ryu, and that has all settled. Cody and Afro just poking around. Svenskeren also on the fleet footwork, Sejuani. Probably won't see that much of this as a thing moving forward, but certainly a powerful option you have.
Well, yeah, I think on the PBE, maybe there were some Sejuani nerfs coming through, so she might get a little bit of a touch. But yeah, you can see fleet footwork for extra attack speed from precision, plus it does help a bit, the extra speed boost you get when you get your auto up to try and make sure you're able to land the second half of your W, as well as give a little bit of health for your clear. But a lot of people really liking Aftershock as well. Super strong option. Although, especially in competitive, you definitely want to have Zombie Ward if you can afford it. And Svenskeren has gone for that. You can see Domination second will almost always be signifying them going for the Zombie Ward, especially on 8.1 here, where Zombie Ward is the full duration, even starting out in the game. The Vision Snowball from that rune is just so insane for competitive. Here we go, though. Level 2 from Licorice goes for the stun. Ssumday sees it coming, as expected. Nice hop back there, and that is well played from both, actually.
Yep, nice little trade of mechanics there in the top lane. Certainly a matchup they should both know fairly well. On the Zombie Ward front, you are correct in assuming Meteos also has it with his secondary rune choices. So certainly a lot of what we've been seeing as Jensen getting the push on early versus Ryu. And gets flicked back. Good damage there from Jensen. Ryu might be forced back. Could be an early swap to that TP here for the Malzahar.
Very good exchange there from Jensen. And you can see in this matchup here with Taliyah, she wants to make use of the burst damage, but not the extended trades. Again, damage over time from Malzahar. So he goes for the W. As soon as he sees the W is going to land, just throws down the field and immediately runs away. So only the E can come out from Ryu. And he's able to win that trade. Meanwhile, with the trade one there on the mid lane, Svenskeren goes for an invade here. This has been an interesting duo for Cloud9 as people expected Sven and him, Jensen that is, to go for a lot of coordinated plays. And they've actually had some good synergy early on.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of ramping up. Yesterday we saw quite a lot of that between the two Danes. So I imagine that will continue, and with a champion like Taliyah, pretty easy for Jensen to shove the lane and then get back up to help his jungler.
Meanwhile, should shout out the defense here. Ssumday wards the Krugs for his jungler, protecting Meteos' valuable gold on his side of the map. Sometimes you'll assume the enemy jungler has got to steal your Krugs already, which has been very commonplace. But since Cloud9's bottom lane is also pushing up, Ssumday rightfully thought that they would need a little bit of extra vision there. Meteos moves in, collects his Krug, so he doesn't lose out on that one extra camp. And Sven, after being chased off, is fine going back to take his own.
Here in the bottom lane, though, you can see just some pushing here for the C9 duo, but time has been nice and even. Certainly expect a champion like Kalista to have edges early on in matchups, but Cody and Afro just fine for now.
I really like the well-played Kalista Taric duos too, because Kalista's so mobile that she, even early on, works very well with the Taric stun and kind of re-coordinating the angle that you want to get with that to be able to land a good long Taric stun on somebody. Other great options are Tristana, with the rocket jump obviously can really threaten those all-ins.
Huge amount of vision at least from all the pressure C9 2 have gotten. Smoothie gets 2 wards down, and the Sentinels are patrolling that area as well. But the Afro's also gone back. The Cody just going to have to play a little bit safer, but should see a recall from everyone here in the bot side in short order.
You can tell Cloud9 are no stranger to Meteos' jungling. They know he hates above everything wards in his jungle, and especially on Zac, if your approach is warded, then it will be very difficult for you to pull off the long-range slingshots that everyone is always so scared of. So Cloud9 put a lot of effort into deep wards and deep counter jungling there. They first went topside, left a lot behind there, then bottom lane pushing up, also able to get that vision, and they track the Zac. Now, after he finishes Wolves, he will again be sighted, and Cloud9 can still play around it. Meanwhile, they're leaving Licorice on the top side, doing very well with the Camille. Gets to the early Sheen, which is the most important item line for this champion. If you don't know how she works, with the Q activation, you can get the extra true damage on your second precision protocol, and the extra Sheen proc will also benefit from that. So she gets huge burst damages, and that's why we always say the Trinity Force is king on the champion, and it really kind of transforms the champion altogether.
Got to wait a little while between Qs, but it's about as long as it takes Spellblade to come back up. So certainly some good synergy there. For a triple TP back from the fountain there as the dual lane with those double unsealed spellbooks get back down, and Licorice also burning his to get back to that lane quickly.
Yeah, it's been really interesting, the kind of arms race in bottom lane where people going spell books. Oh, top side, we have Taliyah.
Here comes the dive on a Ssumday, level 6, gonna get himself trapped in the real wrong place. First blood over to Sven, the Malzahar also last on the Licorice, goes unstoppable for a little while longer and flashes out to safety.
I really am going to enjoy this replay because there was a lot of good mechanics here. Meteos, though, going for a re-engage.
Not over yet. Ult in onto Ryu, gets knocked back in by the Taliyah, and Licorice grabs the next kill. Meteos maybe now in trouble. Does have cell division, but
very, very clean moves from Cloud9 here. We already set up the Svenskeren Jensen double roam with the Taliyah as well as the Sejuani. Trying to camp for the top side. This Camille matchup into Gnar can snowball out of control. They do it right off of his Sheen buy, so he has the extra damage. Then, within that tower dive, Licorice plays it very well. You can see he's going to use his ultimate to drop the tower aggro after it takes one more shot from the Malzahar ultimate to kill him. So, they go for the original kill. Licorice takes the tower aggro because he can dodge tower shots with his ultimate. He then does not critically attack Ryu after using his ultimate on him because it does take you vulnerable and does take the tower aggro off you. Then with the re-engage from Meteos, they immediately turn here. Svenskeren ults very quickly in, and it's a very good turn for Cloud9, getting an extra kill in addition to that summoner from Ryu. So very quick, kind of self-snowball there off of the top side, and it plays right into Cloud9's game plan of having this Camille super threatening into Gnar.
Even parlayed into a red buff steal as well, so the Danish duo playing exceptionally well together in the early game as C9 pick up 2 kills and 1,000 gold ahead for themselves.
Again, this is what, having seen Champion Select, you kind of are looking for them to do, but it's just kind of rare even that you do see things go that well according to the strategy you've laid out and the game plan that you have laid out. They abuse the early game here. They do get the Camille snowballing. And look at the vision they even left behind. So Licorice is really set up well to kind of carry this game as the young guy on the squad and the one with a lot to prove.
Meteos, though, just taking it as Licorice roams down. Again, now he's going to repay the favor, perhaps, looking down for either the jungler or the mid laner. Camille ulti back up and running for Licorice, so has a lot of options to play make, but going to meet the wave here as Ssumday hops away. Little fake, perhaps, from Licorice, or may have misclicked, but wave's coming in, so needs to clear it regardless.
Yep, Licorice not too threatened. It's a Ninja Tabi rush. Doran shield Gnar is about as defensive as you can possibly get because he has to worry about these all-ins. That could definitely come at any moment. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, this is a Kalista lane, as you mentioned, Pastry. Now they're post 6, so the threat mounting there as well. That being said, Shen ultimate now available for aphromoo, so they would hope to try and turn around one of those all-ins maybe on the top side, but Cloud9 should be expected.
Ooh, Ssumday just missed that ulti, and here's the 2v2. Meteos has already been spotted. He's gonna have to get out of there already. They're gonna go back in onto Ssumday. Dodges out of the stun, but there, unstoppable in. Svenskeren moving through. Here comes Afro, like you mentioned. Ssumday getting low, but that's not enough to taunt. Let's pick it up the Licorice, but Jensen up! Trying to take it down. Meteos does abduct Licorice and take him down, but Smoothie up here as well. A flash stun finds Meteos, but it's just the passive that might get popped and doesn't even go down.
And the aphromoo Shen ultimate that we mentioned, sometimes they don't keep track of that coming from a support position, but post level 6, he is the determining factor here in the difference of this top lane play. Cloud9 does go along with the exact same game plan, but aphromoo barely turns this around as they're able to nullify this gank on top side. Okay, so here they come through. They think they've got all this vision. Ssumday's ult is gone. He's gone mini Gnar. This is like perfect setup, right? But Meteos expects it. He is here. aphromoo from the bottom side is looking. You can see on the mini map, aphromoo even runs into his own jungle so they can't interrupt him. He gets off his Stand United, buys time for Ssumday. Then they have the double combo. Taunts into Meteos' ultimate to take Licorice back. They get the early kill. And even with all that, barely get away with it, since Smoothie as well from the bottom side is running the spellbook, that teleport you talked about. So he's trying to get up to top side. It's just not as quick and not as impactful as the shield from the Shen ultimate and the quicker arrival.
Global a little worse, unfortunately, there. So nice play from 100 Thieves that turn that back around and give themselves a kill. Still down about 1,000 gold as Svenskeren and Jensen continue to run amok in the 100 Thieves jungle, pressuring again towards that top side. Most of the Raptor camp getting lost there, but Meteos does claim a little back. Fortunately for Ryu, it's just really tough for him to outroam a champion like Taliyah.
Yep, gonna have to just try and shove the wave. You E on a minion, Q for the extra damage so they get low, and then spam your Voidlings. Hope they just take care of it.
Ooh, great little play there from Licorice, but another wonderful hop from Ssumday. Prevents himself from getting stunned.
Meanwhile, Meteos has had a tough job clearing out all that vision we talked about in his jungle, right? So Zach is going over vision right now, and this could be very dangerous. Right now, though, they do have an extra summoner in the 2v2 up top, and with all this attention top, the bottom lane has quietly taken the first bonus turret gold with the activation down there. Sven is also on a ward now. So both teams have knowledge.
Yep, who's going to win this 2v2? Svenskeren, yep, going to get jumped on by Meteos. Taliyah's already here, though. Jensen just roams up, didn't need the ulti. TP comes back in. Licorice, we're going to try and lock down a target, but Ssumday's about to go mega. He does get stunned, but he Gnar spent into the wall. Devin is good. Ryu gets knocked back in by Jensen, who's trying to run interference. Meteos getting low, going to get isolated by Camille. Licorice barely able to get the flash. Ryu gets the Zhonya's down. Stays as good as Jensen will collect the kill on the other side. Now it's just 2v2 as he tries to TP out. Meteos kept alive for a little while longer. That was the blob he actually wanted to protect, but Jensen grabs the double and still has ulti if he wants to chase. He does, looking for Meteos again. Meteos, the old member of Cloud9 as Jensen doesn't quite grab it. Now Afro finds the taunt, but not in turret range. Smoothie roaming up as well. Jensen shoves Afro back.
Oh, this is the League of Spellbook pastry when we've got bottom laners turning the tides. All last year, everyone was complaining, oh, there's 5 people bottom lane. Oh, everybody's just ganging up on bottom lane. Now the bottom laners are getting revenge with their support gens and their spellbook teleports that they've taken. Again, though, Ryu, you mentioned, it's hard for him to keep up with all these quick global plays. He tries here again with the teleport. The Cloud9 on the Taliyah. Jensen was already halfway up the river, and they're able to make it happen. So, Meteos starts it out on Svenskeren. They think they've got the edge here. Teleport comes in from Ryu across the side. Ssumday goes Mega, gets the stun. Then Meteos' ultimate is able to finish off that kill with the Malzahar damage, but Jensen has just annihilated Ryu during this time, and Licorice flashes for the execute, but Ryu, even though he had a well-timed stopwatch to deny the kill from Licorice, still has Jensen on his back.
Yeah, denies the healing as well. Licorice might have lived, actually. Did grab that takedown. Instead, Jensen tries to the last fight, does not grab it, but still looking strong as even damage done to the mid turret by the duo. Cody shifts out of that dazzle. Very nice play from the Ezreal, but again, we kind of ignore bottom lane with all that topside pressure, but Sneaky and Smoothie have done so much work just by shoving up the lane and being in the faces of 100 Thieves.
We're getting yet another very proactive game here with all the teleports taken from Cloud9, trying to push the tempo with they're roaming Taliyah from mid, and it has earned them this early game gold lead and the tower advantage, right? The tower that the bottom lane took, pretty much all by themselves, by the way, has opened up a lot of the control around this dragon, and they're not letting up on the tempo. It's key. They switch up topside extremely low. They're trying to pressure this one down. They want to completely open up this map to allow for this Camille Trinity Force now completed to split into Ssumday and continue to try and get that sideway control.
And there's another turret again. 2v2 pressure enough in the top side to take down another outer turret. Thieves going to have to be a little careful. Svenskeren, though, going to get the jumped on by Meteos' slingshot. Goes unstoppable, abducts back into the team. Stun, no, flash out from Sven. Doesn't take the red buff. Somebody got it. I think it was Meteos.
Yeah, I think Meteos was the one to land the second smite there. Sven also, actually, whatever.
I think he already had one.
He already had one. The sequence of events, unimportant, as Meteos is the one wearing it. Ryu now trying to defend mid, but it's 4 members of Cloud9 rotating down to the last outer turret standing.
This is certainly important if they can take down this turret. Ryu needs to be careful, gets his spell shield knocked off by Jensen's Q. Sneaky laying shots in. Only 1 QSS on the side of C9. It belongs to Jensen, who rushed it.
And we do have a rotating Licorice over here who's pushed the bottom wave and then was even threatening 5 members of Cloud9 around mid, but the more secure play would be to take the neutral objective. You have Kalista rend. It basically secures that you'll get the last hit on any of those neutrals by stacking up the spears. And it is kind of in dangerous territory for 100 Thieves to contest. Cloud9 can easily push both sideways to get themselves into a good spot and then kind of collapse onto that objective. You can see they've littered 4 control wards in this top side by the Rift Herald. So they can kind of take that objective at their leisure and use it to crack the last little line of defense here for 100 Thieves.
Jensen also got blue buff, so a soft reset of the map here for Cloud9 as Smoothie also takes a recall. Could be the same as his partner. Looks like a lot of gold actually for C9 to go and spend. So again, not needing to pressure too far. They already know how low the mid outer turret is, and actually do find enough time here with that Kalista, like you mentioned, to take down the Rift Herald as well. So good passage of play overall from C9, recognizing their moments, recognizing when they have tempo, able to take down the Rift Herald and now go and spend their gold and try and push forward. Again, still up about 4,000 gold.
Yep, next choice is now between the weakened mid turret as well as the Cloud Drake that is available. To really set up the Cloud Drake, they would probably want to check all their boxes and get deeper vision to avoid a Zac initiation into some crazy like Mega Gnar combo or something. But they should have the freedom to be able to reset and replace a little bit of that vision in time. Since you can see already, Cody Sun, the Ezreal, is top side for 100 Thieves, and he won't be able to join any sort of bottom lane power play.
Again, well within reach here for 100 Thieves, despite the deficit they're currently sitting in. Really is the map disadvantage that's plaguing them the most. Of course, that leads to a gold lead, so C9 looking good, but Licorice just prepping things. Looks like maybe that Cloud Drake's up next, as Smoothie and Afro have a ward battle, actually. Not a whole lot of champion hitting happening. Sneaky though, back up to that top side. Jensen re-pushing after a bite. Has both Sork Shoes and the Haunting guys finished alongside the Morello and the QSS, so Cloud9 storm is brewing around this next objective.
It is brewing. I think we should take a look at the map from 100 Thieves' vision perspective, because they actually now have been able to build up some Fog of War, and that will allow a Meteos Zac initiation. Shen could go on his back or use his ult defensively on the Ezreal to try and get themselves an opening back into this game.
Jensen again playing up towards Meteos, but doesn't quite get the flick back on the seismic shove for extra damage. 100 Thieves kind of knowing the obvious point of attack here. Sven holding the Eye of the Herald, so can get the Rift Herald going, but maybe a waste given how low that turret is.
And the pings right now for Cloud9 are just to continue to take turrets. They don't care about dragons at all. They're shoving topside hard. As you said, they have the trump card of the Rift Herald to be able to spawn on the opposite side of the map. And with Sneaky and Smoothie completing that much pressure on the top side, they again can start the tempo for themselves. Side lanes pushing, you know, Licorice is also uncontested on the bottom side, then start to collapse for this big play.
Yep, just so many avenues of attack. It's more about picking the right ones as Meteos charging up. Looking for the dual lane, that's a good few to strike together, but Sneaky instantly Zonya's down.
Whoa.
Goes into the stasis, Taric all burnt. Very safe play from C9.
Yeah, that is a lot of defensive capabilities burned. 2 invulnerability.
Going in though, Sven looking for it. Tara is probably the target, but they might try and find a fight flash out there from aphromoo. As Meteos is low, gets popped into pieces. He's divided. Oh, a good ult there, actually onto Sneaky. Damage is good, but Sneaky, no, gets out of the way. Jensen able to find the snipe. The heal burn as Sneaky was ignited, but Licorice is left out to dry as a result, down to aphromoo.
Ooh, a little bit of an overstay from Cloud9 after so much was burned from them. They did chase down Meteos though, so it is a 1-for-1 in the end. But a 1-for-1 is fairly good breathing room for 100 Thieves. They're happy to take that time to pick up both side waves that were set up so meticulously by Cloud9 in advance of the big play. I think 100 Thieves happy to get that little bit of a breather. Here's another look at the engagement where Meteos goes in, uses his ultimate back, and since you're unstoppable, the Taric Sun doesn't really matter there. But both invulnerabilities, it's a nice little looking combo. As you see, no threat of a Malzahar killing Sneaky there because they instantly use everything. But then they won't have it for a tower dive, and this tower dive looks a little bit rushed as they start it onto the Shen and the Zac, the front line here, and they do get Meteos' Zac passive, and you know they'll eventually get the kill, but now the Malzahar ultimate is still saved, and they force Sneaky out of the fight, which allows them to collapse onto Licorice and grab their counter kill, plus leash the dragon,
yeah.
Cloud9.
Ssumday was like, if no one's going to take this, I want it. But it looks like that, unfortunately, will be stopped. Licorice missing Challenger Crab, who definitely juked out of the way of the Camille hookshot. And Rift Herald is hanging out in the bottom lane. Nowhere else good to really park it.
Yeah, Licorice and his buddy here going to be marching right down that bottom side. They actually don't stop for Cloud Drake, and they want to go over to the Baron. Time this with the Rift Herald extra pressure that they're going to get from this. And this is only 21 minutes into the game, but this is a Taric team. And he'll be trying to spam the heals on the rest of the squad if he doesn't get picked off.
Also, maybe just trying to find a fight here. Sven's ult is up and ready to go.
Meteos looking at a juicy grouped up squad of Cloud9, but no rest of the members are here for 100 Thieves as Rio was trying to clear out the minions.
Red buff awarded to Cloud9 though. Smite from Sven will delay a potential Baron play, but Jensen's into the pit. There's a ward right in the back, well placed by 100 Thieves. Asina, I think, just trying to bait their opponents into something here, but 100 Thieves are doing their research before face checking as C9 continue to pound on pressure.
And again, remember the 2-item power spikes here, they're starting to come through. In addition, QSSs for Cloud9 on both carries now. Jensen in addition to Sneaky. And looks like Licorice is fairly close to trying to get his Tiamat completed, or I mean the upgraded Tiamat for himself, so he can then lifesteal off the waves and get that extra AoE lifesteal, in addition to his very high 1v1 prowess with the Trinity Force DPS.
Yep, I think definitely focused on the 1v1 here, although Frozen Mallet plus Fade from Ssumday could cause problems. Not enough though, dive in the mid lane. In onto Meteos, he's gonna get flicked back. Zac no passive, Sneaky with a kill. Nice turnaround there from Cloud9.
All right, let's see if they can actually use the power play, because we have a recall right now from Licorice, and though he does have teleport, that will let up on the sideways, and Ssumday also has teleport, so they could answer.
Jungler's dead, stop Baron seems to be the call here. TP in from Licorice, C9 committing resources to try and get this objective.
It is a Kalista, so they could try and burn it down, but it's at 3,000!
Oh, Taric ultimately going to just try and take it down before anything else happens. Ryu gets suppressed.
Oh!
Multiple targets, Svenskeren out. Licorice does it onto Ryu, and that's going to take him down. The ult follows. The Baron goes to Cloud9. Another death there lands in onto Afro, and Ssumday tries to get a kill, but he cannot find it.
What an insane wipe there from Cloud9. They take down the Baron. Smoothie flashes in with his invulnerability, so they get the Taric invulnerability on Malzahar damage from the ultimate, and then Licorice goes offensive to grab the kill there. So in addition to the huge Baron pickup, they also grab the kills.
A very fabulous Baron here for C9, but watch how this one started. Meteos trying to find a pick onto Jensen.
Right, this was how it all started. 100 Thieves taking an opportunity here that they saw for themselves. But again, they don't have complete vision. They don't even have that great of vision, right? Because they've been on the back foot. But that's why it's a 4v5 here, and why 100 Thieves want to force this fight. Because they know that if Baron gets low enough, it'll get rented. Smoothie there, flashed over, so that his part of the Taric ultimate would land on Svenskeren. It saves his life from the Malzahar damage. Meanwhile, Licorice goes in, 1v3 almost there to pick up the kill. Flashes away at the end, and the heals from Smoothie kept him upright as well. Cloud9 get out without a casualty and a couple of objectives on their backs.
And finally, the Cloud Taric goes down. 24.5 minutes in. Cloud9 collect their mascot, and C9 looking to push down this bot side with Baron up for two more minutes. But a very well-coordinated set of plays there with some creative Taric and Kalista usage. And we'll see what damage they can get done. 0 turret still for 100 Thieves, so running out of room to play with. And that's trouble in under that turret. Cody Sun forced to burn the stasis. And flashes out. Yeah, that's safety just enough there for Cody. He gets out from over everything. Jensen's like, yep, that doesn't work, and Ryu's now caught. Wall was up for a little while longer. Stun is massive, landing onto 2 Meteos. Tries to dive back in, but he ultis out to safety. Can't abduct anyone back into the team, and Cloud9 unrelenting in their pressure.
Great to see a team actually drafting for mid-game and playing it really well. Cloud9 playing off their power spikes, Baron buff inside of the base, an inhibitor at 25 minutes right now. We are ahead of schedule, Pastry.
Certainly so, C9. Just increasing the tempo with each and every play. Still a minute left with Baron buff here, so another play can be made, but go back, spend their gold, and look to charge down maybe another turret.
Ravenous Hydra completed for Licorice. Trinity Force completed. He has the little bit of defenses from his Ninja Chabi and a No Magic Mantle. Cloud9 just across the board feeling extremely confident about the execution now.
Certainly so. Again, the push still comes. Looks like Jensen's even working on a death cap to give you an idea of how far ahead they're snowballing this game. Oh, found one. Oh, Meteos! Oh no, he got trapped in the arena. Meteos gonna get knocked back down, cell divided. And Ryu gonna try and find something with the poor little blobs going down, sneaking on a killing spree as he takes down Meteos.
Yep, can't get away from Camille. Ultimate locks you inside, and they're able to get the pick on such a key member. Taking down the Zac passive is a big cooldown and takes away almost all of the threat of the counter engage from 100 Thieves. Now, if it was to happen, it would have to be a huge play from Ssumday, getting a large stun. And even then, there's so many answers from Cloud9 that they are unafraid. They're just shoving up straight through top lane, mid lane already prepped as well, and they have full control of the map.
Yep, they just take a turret, the Baron wears off, and they'll happily take those objectives. Because again, Super Minions still moving in. They've still got Jensen's ulti as well, if they want to use Weave as well as a sieging tool. Haven't seen that one in a little while. It looks like mid lane tier 2 is the first order of business, and Ssumday, you're into the turret, about to go mini. Very tired little Gnar. Licorice, though, no ulti to lock him back up. Meteos finds one hand on his spin, but nothing to whack him against, and that turret's gonna fall down.
And with that pick off, Cloud9 have taken away the other thing they had to worry about, the flash from Gnar. They're just attacking the tanks, picking them off, and removing the threat.
When you're this far ahead, just hit the closest target at this stage. 10,000 gold ahead for C9 as they get themselves yet another turret. 7 turrets to 0. 100 Thieves have a lot of ground to make back up as their blue buff also going to get stolen. Jensen credited that one.
Yeah, huge gold lead here for Cloud9. They control most of the territory of the entire map. You can see 100 Thieves trying to clear out some of the defensive wards here. Meteos diligently clearing wards, getting some vision back, but there are just too many. There's too much ground to cover for them to actually secure this, and they are walking in Cloud9 sights.
And I think really at this point, Cloud9 are going to have to start tripping up towards the finish line. Things to really go wrong. Baron not up for a number of minutes, so no real play to make there. It is only one inhib, so certainly an obvious defendable spot, but with the way C9 have been coordinating and pushing through this mid-game, 100 Thieves going to have to come up with something quite miraculous.
Yeah, and there's just almost too many answers. Because of the pace of the game here for Cloud9 and the gold lead, they have been able to create their answers for 100 Thieves questions before 100 Thieves can even ask the questions. There are 3 QSSs now. Licorice is already done with his. He's level 16 on Kalista. Can jump right in and assassinate any target that he finds. And they have all the waves pushing, as well as the rest of the vision moving in once again. And almost no contest.
Yep, even stealing the plants out of 100 Thieves jungle. Baron up in a minute 15. C9 trying to apply as much pressure as they can to this top lane, as Ssumday is still tied up with those super minions for a little while longer. Inhib is back soon-ish.
4 QSSs, even Smoothie has
hiding
one as well.
Hiding in a sword, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Mercurial Scimitar, of course, there. Smoothie has one just in case. Has to hit the eject button and pop the Cosmic Radiance. Slowly but surely, these turrets are going to take more and more damage. There won't even be time, really, for this next Ocean Drake to spawn before Baron is back in on the table. And Licorice threatening in the side lane can 1v1 just about anyone at this stage of the game. So, like you said, too many answers and not enough questions for 100 Thieves. As C9 just going to back off the last few waves of pressure, get their vision, and start Baron number 2. Yeah,
at this point, they just don't have any damage for 100 Thieves side. Even if they got a really good pick, Cloud9 would have to split themselves up and allow themselves to be burned down fairly slowly, because there's not much DPS left for 100 Thieves to utilize.
Well, again, they have to live up to their name and try a steal on this next big objective, but Cloud9 have done all of their homework in the enemy jungle and actually baiting in for a fight. I mean, 100 of these have to check. They've got no vision here. Maybe an Ezreal ult's a good way to start it off, but C9 looking for a fight.
Let's get some fog of war here from 100 Thieves side, because these are the tense moments in the game, right? People have lived through these late games where they're so far behind, Baron is up. It's incredibly threatening here for anyone to even get close. There we go, some blue trinkets used.
Sneaky looking for someone, but doesn't find it. Again, still very dark in the river here around the Baron butt. Going to sweep out the wards. There's a zombie ward on the other side, but Cody is going to get aggressed on Sven's. Like, yep, he's cut off. We can go for it here. Cody forced to flush and shift away. Knock back in there for aphromoo. He's going to get stunned by the permafrost. Aphro locked down by Licorice, and that's going to be a kill. 5v4 once again.
All right, they can just retreat back to all of the vision control here. Pull the same thing again, or just burn down the Baron. It looks like they want to get Meteos off the table.
He's
first.
Caught. Meteos again locked in by Licorice. Can't get out. Does die to Jensen. Not even Let's Bounce will save you there.
Well, now, see, they have all the answers before the question's even asked. You're like, oh, can they Baron steal? Nope, he's already dead. And now they start Baron.
Well, their in-hit came back up, so that's about the only shred of good news here at the moment. But Baron number 2 will go over to Cloud9 as they look to put the final stance on this game.
Yeah, and what a stance it is. Cloud9 kind of emphatic here in this perceived victory over 100 Thieves. So we look at the opening week of the LCS. A lot of people with a lot of questions, and 100 Thieves with a very good start for themselves. Cloud9 did have an early stumble, but really strong here, showing up once again. Let's take another look at how it happened. Sneaky just started out auto-attacking Cody Sun after he E'd forward without vision on Ezreal. And then from there, it really does kind of snowball as far as the positioning. As soon as 100 Thieves are in the reverse, their defensive start to come out to try and protect Cody Sun, get him the retreat. Svenskeren goes forward, they get the lockup, and then Meteos is trying to look for a steal. Licorice takes advantage.
Yep, dies to the damage. Still in Camille's ultimate. As again, Baron up 2.5 minutes, more than enough sieging time. Because even Jensen's getting things going in the top side. Bot inhibitor is open and ready for the taking if C9 want to wander down there. But looks like they'll try and take down some of those few remaining turrets off of the rift for 100 Thieves. We'll see how the defense looks, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, there's even an exposed inhibitor on bottom side. So Cloud9 splitting all the way out to a 1-3-1 with the Baron. Taliyah can collapse easily. Licorice on Camille has her teleport. And they can Baron speed up the minions and get everything in place before they pull the trigger.
Svenskeren getting tickled by Ssumday by the looks of things. Very tanky on the Sedge. Playing without too much inhibition here. And again, the siege begins. Licorice forcing those Baron minions up. Ssumday about to go mega as a little bit of damage trickles onto that mid turret. Smoothie getting low though. They had a face full of visions there from Ryu.
Yep, a lot of damage dealt out, and 100 Thieves buy themselves a little bit of time. Smoothie trying to heal himself back up, though.
Shouldn't be too hard for the Taric. I don't quite... Doesn't have a tier, so can't go full-on bravado with the Taric.
He also doesn't have anything to auto-attack right now to try and get the cooldowns reduced. Sven, though, again, targeting the front line here is Meteos getting a little bit of a bump. Chest bump going between frontliners.
Jensen's got things going as well, but 100 Thieves doing a nice job kind of catching these waves. CNO not quite syncing them all together, but Jensen is going to look for the cutoff play. Cody gets knocked back through. 2v5 on the wrong side of the wall. Aphro with the Spirit's Referee trying to save the turret, I think.
Yeah, Meteos actually threatening there with the Elastic Slingshot. Makes Cloud9 back off, and even with the exposed inhibitor on bottom side, good defense from 100 Thieves here. clearing out those minion waves, and Cloud9 unable to make that final step inside the 100 Thieves base.
Might be upgraded to excellent if 100 Thieves can hold this position for the next 40 seconds. Smoothie still a little low. Licorice now the one to try and siege the top inhibitor turret. So this is the difference. They're going to try and push everyone else to the exposed inhib and have a Licorice be the one split pushing solely.
And this is the last 25 seconds left of the Baron buff. Cloud9 now, finally, they go for the exposed inhib, just muscling their way in, and will take it.
Looks like 100 Thieves going to try and force something, but they're now going to start the fight off first. Suppression down. After the only member without a QSS, Svenskeren goes down, but Ssumday's transforms into Mega Gnar and will live through the onslaught. C9 playing 4v5, but they do grab the inhib.
It's the curse of the Sejuani. We've seen them, pretty much all of them, just building standard tank items versus Malzahars, but being left as the only real vulnerable target for a Malzahar ultimate because of the lack of QSS. You either need to have a QSS or a Gargoyle Stone Plate at the very least to get the damage reduction during it on. And right there, you get to see the shredding abilities, and 100 Thieves, even though they lost their inhibitor, they kind of limited their losses with how much of an advantage Cloud9 had. To only lose one inhibitor and be able to come away with that kind of counter kill on a Svenskeren before Taric ultimate is able to land down is quite good news for them.
Not quite enough there on the timing. And again, Ssumday with a timely transform to get out. C9 not able to push their lead too much further, which, like you said, is great news for 100 Thieves.
It's only great news in the context of the overall game.
Yeah, the overall game is still looking great.
Because the overall game here is still very much Cloud9 sided, and they could just walk right back out. Now they've got supers on bottom side. Licorice is actually escorting them right down the lane. And he will be able to join up with the rest of his team after he pushes those to the doorstep.
Big objectives keep on coming as well. Elder Dragon up in under a minute 30. As 100 Thieves still trying to defend a much smaller Baron power play than the first one, but still sitting up more than 10,000 gold ahead as they try and sink these waves. Ssumday answering bot side right now as Sven hopes to pick off a straggler with Sejuani. Even a Night's Vow completed to augment his carries. So hasn't learned the QSS lesson just yet. Maybe thinks he doesn't need it as another wall from Jensen's going to try and cut them off.
Yeah, it doesn't do a lot. That can get over it.
Here's a big tower dive. Again, Svenskeren tied up. The Taric ulti late there. Svenskeren does go down to Cody, but they're going to try and take the turret. They will barely not break it. C9 needed one more breath of fresh air to get it down, but 100 Thieves defend again.
I feel like Cloud9 could coordinate those better with earlier activations right when Sven goes in, have it calling down, because that is literally the only way 100 Thieves can defend this, is get that kill before the ultimate comes down, and they do it for a second time. We've seen already, if you give these defending teams enough one-off kills and enough one-off defenses, and you let them farm up until late game, and then it becomes much more even ground.
I mean, even, the simpler level of that is just activate the Taric ulti and hit the turret.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that, it's
just
not,
do it early, all go in at the same time, and
don't even
it down.
Don't even need Taliyah or Sejuani ult potentially, but 100 Thieves again, exploiting some of those mistakes, doing a really nice job
he could
keeping the
that
game.
turret.
I mean, just get in there.
Yeah, even without the minion taking off the extra armor.
He's out of there. He's very out of there. He's worried. 100 Thieves collapsing. Licorice flash early. Afro not going to follow with a taunt, but that's a summoner pretty much given away.
It will be the Elder Dragon. It was given away for the Elder Dragon as the rest of the team goes there. I mean, you could definitely argue that, with the power they have, they could have done the Elder Dragon anyway. But we'll say, since he was up there, and the defenses have been happening for 100 Thieves, that now, with the extra burn, is this going to be enough for Cloud9, taking the Baron afterwards to actually push inside the base?
Yep.
Or will 100 Thieves try and mount one of these fights into an Elder Dragon team that has vision control? I would suspect not, and they would take their chances inside the base, but it looks like they're coming out of the base for maybe a shot at it.
This doesn't feel like the fight. 100 Thieves are all 5 strong here. Well, then Ryu can't join. Maybe Meteos just tries for a steal.
Maybe.
Thinking to ult him. Does go down. Nice rend there. The C9 player well. Cody barely misses the pickoff. But the seismic shove shifts correctly towards his red buff. And C9 back with the pressure. Double big buffs. As Meteos trying to get out of there. Ooh, carries one in, but now going to get locked down by the Camille. Licorice just ults him. They're going to try and take down the tank. Meteos Chunked down so fast, popped into pieces once more. That's going to be an easy kill for C9. 5v4 for 50 seconds, Kobe.
Yeah, that's going to be it. They have Baron, they have Elder Dragon, they got the pick onto the front line, and now Cloud9 marching into the base.
Well, going to see if they can do a little bit better this time. Licorice sieging the top side. C9 patiently just trying to crack all 3 inhibitor turrets. Licorice, just a puff, a fresh air, a breeze, a stiff breeze. All right, the minion's going to do it instead. They're the win that knocked down that inhibitor turret.
We got to go back with their Baron buff to speed up the minion waves around mid lane, and now it has arrived.
All right, and again, just pop the ulti early this time. Sven straight in, taunted by aphromoo, but the turrets are going to fall. Inhib respawns, but I'm not sure that's going to be it as Ryu does get in a great double knocker by Smoothie after the Fates call, and it's a rampage in the base of 100 Thieves. They'll move back. They're going to clear out an inhibitor first before they can do the formalities and take down the Nexus, although should have enough time. We'll have to see. Meteos back in the mix. C9 playing a little more patiently. He's going to take down 2 inhibs, waiting for the supers. 40 seconds on Ryu.
Yeah, they have plenty of time on the Baron buff and Elder Dragon as well. Ssumday's trying to make a play.
Licorice dives into Cody Sun, going to get the 1v1. Licorice popping off as he takes down the Ezreal. 1 Nexus turret down. Ssumday scoops Jensen into the fountain, lays it for a very stylish kill, but that's not going to be enough to hold this storm. C9 going to ruin the potential undefeated record and tie it up 3-1 as they close out week 2.
Definitely a well-crafted and well-executed early game and mid-game there from the Cloud9 squad. The early roam from Jensen and Svenskeren up the top side, getting Licorice going, and the repeated globals used to keep the snowball. Meanwhile, Sneaky and Smoothie on that Kalista Taric combo, they're the ones slowly doing this hard work, right? They're the ones that aren't on screen. They don't get everybody shouting their names, but they take the bottom turret, rotate up top side, take the top turret. They constantly have this big threat, and eventually Cloud9 finish it out.
And they just continue to do it, which is probably the most impressive thing to me, given how defensive-oriented the bottom lane has been. I mean, they're still playing Relic Shield, Overheal, all of the same things, the fleet footwork that make these lanes quite stagnant, and somehow they are finding consistent wins.
Impressive performances there from C9, and they're very happy to pick up this win week number 2 and round out their LCS start.
And again, so many questions aimed, I think, rightfully at the rookie of Cloud9, but continues to answer questions. Granted, his help is very good looking, as Jensen and Svenskeren really took over the jungle there. But, you know, if FLICKR is a player that can carry when he's given the resources, why not give him them?
I think it was, yeah, definitely very promising for Cloud9 fans because, again, there was so much talk in the offseason. They're like, oh, we lost Impact. You know, that is a big blow. He was such a huge part of the team last year. And Licorice, coming from Challenger, didn't have a lot of, you know, stuff to show, right? He's only been in Challenger, so there's not a lot of translation that you can count on there, but really good performances from him on the biggest stage against some of the best top laners that have played the game in, you know, Huni and Ssumday. And yes, you know, getting a good matchup, getting help from your teammates, those are all important things. It's a team game.
I mean, I think as well, just doing it on carries is impressive. Like, it might be one thing to come in and play tanks well and support your team that way, but Licorice is the guy picking the good matchups, getting the help, and then succeeding on the champions like Camille, like Gangplank. I mean, he loves Fiora. I assume that one is popping up at some point soon, given how many unique champions he's played as well. There is a lot to love here about this rookie. Been a very impressive start, and the org has clearly fostered a good environment for him to succeed.
Yeah, and they clearly have confidence in him, too, to continue to draft, you know, offensive things like this and play to this style. It's fun to see a team trying to get a more early game-oriented game plan going and executing on it, trying to get these snowballing objectives off of the turrets, and that type of control that you see is actually not happening that much in the meta currently, like around the world.
Well, certainly looking good, but for more on that victory, let's send it down to Overly May and the Cloud9 mid laner.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Jensen. Congratulations on your win against 100 Thieves, knocking them out. They're no longer undefeated. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the mid meta and how you played today. Usually we've seen a lot of Azir, we've seen Malzahar, we've seen Ryze, but you brought out Taliyah for the first game. What do you think of the mid meta so far, and how does it fit with your play style?
I think right now there's like 4 strong champions like Zoe, Ryze, Azir, Malzahar. So when they are up, usually you'll just see people rotate between them. But if a lot of them are banned, then like, for example, I can play the Taliyah blind pick, here, for example, because it does well into Malzahar with the other strong picks gone. So right now, I feel like the meta is a little stale. Like it's kind of just the same picks, but if people choose to like ban the stronger ones out, then I think the meta opens up a bit more for mid lane.
And I also wanted to ask you a little bit about your rookie top laner, Licorice. We talked to him a little bit last week. He's been playing phenomenally. He's already been played against Ssumday. He's played against Huni, all of these big name top laners, and he's had a pretty diverse champion pool up in top so far too. What do you think of his performance, and where do you think he'll be in a few weeks with a little bit of time and growth?
I think his performance so far has been pretty good. I remember first time I was playing LCS, I was very nervous, and it didn't seem like he was playing under like any sort of pressure. And I think he's been playing pretty good so far. So I'm excited to see how he's going to perform in the future.
Where do you think he'll be? Do you think he'll top Huni or?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for this interview and congratulations on the win. And for more on this game, let's hear from our analysts at the desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. Congratulations to the Cloud9 League of Legends squad as they pick up another win here on the weekend, move to 3-1. But we need to throw that organization an additional congratulations, as during that game, their CSGO team was the first North American team to win a CSGO major in double overtime of a best-of-3. Pretty sweet.
Don't give up, League of Legends fans. It can happen for us too.
Maybe
we can win a world.
Year, dude. Yeah. Franchising, got all these players in here.
This is it. Let's build the hype right now for November. All right. Okay. But as we return to this game and the victory crafted by Cloud9's league team, I want to look at champion select. Pretty hardcore. We had the question there asked by Avli about that mid lane meta, but you can tell based on Jensen's answer and the history of Reaper as a coach that this is a very proficient squad when it comes to champion select.
And I think that they absolutely dominated again here. They've won a lot of their games through their draft phase, and here you have 2 winning side lanes with a mid laner who wants to roam and influence those side lanes. They didn't end up going bottom quite as much, but they had that option. And then once you get into mid-game team fighting with a lead with this comp, it's very dive heavy. Taric enables a lot of people to go in, and it synergizes so well in itself, in the meta, and against the opponent here in 100 Thieves draft.
It's a little bit of a god comp we were talking about beforehand. Camille is the most banned champion in the LPL. Sejuani is the highest pick ban champion in the LCK. Taric is the most picked support in NA. Kalista is the highest priority AD carry. And how did they get all these champions, right? When you then consider the fact that all the matchups are good, it fits the players, it fits the comp. This is, and I know I think it's one of the best drafts we've seen all year.
Okay.
As far as the team composition and the way everything works so well.
All right, but you can draft the best comp in the world. You still have to play to that comp. You have to play to those conditions that you set out, right? Having those strong side lanes and playing to them with the mid laner. It's exactly what Cloud9 did.
Yeah.
I think that's what's impressive too, because so much of that pressure is put on to Licorice when they keep giving him these counter mashups that you actually need to, one, win them and play around them. So you see Jensen and him going up there early on, getting the first dive off. Licorice plays this well to survive, drops her to aggro with the ultimate. Here, continues absorbing pressure. And to be fair to 100 Thieves, they understood that this was going to happen, and they were usually close by for him, but it was just really hard to win these fights.
Yeah, and then there's the extra element of the fact that there's a double spellbook bottom lane for C9, so they always have the threat of sending more people up there with teleport, which makes it more difficult for 100 Thieves to make a proactive play. So just so much action in the top lane, which is what we've come to expect actually in a lot of NALCS games.
And look, I know we've talked about the C9 top laner in Licorice a lot, but as the focus continually goes up there over the course of their 4 games, I've got to give a nod to this rookie who's played 4 unique champions in 4 games on this stage, played against some very tough opponents, and is sitting on a 3-1 record.
I think this is the weekend that really kind of validates Licorice in a lot of people's minds. Up against Uni, up against Ssumday, still playing the carry focus style. He is getting counter pick, which is giving him that kind of leg up, but they're showing that that's still a good idea. It's not like, oh, we're giving him the counter pick so he can live. It's like, no, and then we're going to go up there, we're going to gank for him, and we're going to snowball off our top laner. And that's very impressive to see, and it's nice that Cloud9 as a team is backing him up so well.
I want to take a moment, though, to now, again, return to kind of the holistic picture of the North American LCS. We only have 1 undefeated team remaining after the result of this game, and that team is Echo Fox. But both of these squads here sitting at 3-1, and again, that's a it's a very solid scoreline that I'm sure both of these orgs are happy with.
Yeah, I think they're both going to be pretty happy about this one, specifically just with the new players they've had to integrate, the fact that 100 Thieves only had 13 or 16 days before the season to have this work. 75% win rate after 2 weeks is great.
42 assists across the team for Cloud9. That number speaks volumes to me. As you compare that to the 16 on the flip side for the losing team, it just kind of, again, talks about, or rather supports this idea that C9 as a team are going places to look for those skirmishes and pick up those kills.
And it's also nice for Reaper a little bit because it wasn't like a completely dominating victory with how far ahead they were. There were a couple failed dives. Sven's a little too far ahead of the team, or the Taric's ult's a little late. There's still things to improve on, so it's like that kind of ideal win as a coach where you feel good about it, but you can still nitpick them a little bit.
I mean, so 100 Thieves, they suffered their first loss here. I mean, what's our thought there? I'm not saying that this team deteriorates by any means. Strong players, lots of veteran status, so the mentality, I have to imagine, will remain strong. You got Prawley leading the charge, but they did just get their first punch to the face. How do you react?
Every single one of those players has lost before. I think they're going to be totally fine with it. And I think they were a little bit out-comped in this one. They're 100% fine.
All right, there you have it. After the break, we got two more teams looking to end the weekend on a win. Optic versus FlyQuest. Don't go anywhere.
Brain check. You have a brain today?
Yeah. Today I have
Right,
brain.
you have a finger today?
Yes.
you are not missing the WQ, right?
No, I want.
Right. You have a brain today?
Comes the dive on a Ssumday, level 6, gonna get himself trapped in the real wrong place. First blood over to Sven, the Malzahar also last on the Licorice, goes unstoppable for a little while longer and flashes out. Licorice barely able to get the flash down. Ryu gets the Zhonya's down, stays as good as Jensen will collect the kill on the other side.
Hitting mouse. Yeah. Mouse done. Finish. Finish now first. Nice. Malzahar dead. We can chase maybe.
But I'm not sure that's going to be it as Ryu does get in a great double knock back Smoothie after the face call, and it's a rampage in the base of D9. Gonna ruin the potential undefeated record and tie it up 3-1 as they close out week 2.
Welcome to Remember This, presented by State Farm. Back at PAX 2014, the world of League of Legends was about to change. We're taking a look back at Wild Turtle's excellent quadra kill from PAX 2014.
Into this fight and are going for broke. High goes in, tries to get his ultimate down. Last breath has already been used. Coming up with focus. Wow, Turtle! Turtle on the triple, Turtle on the quadra.